This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, good morning everyone. So in yesterday's session, we learned how to interact with our container, how to deploy softwares inside the container. We learned these things, right? So normally, uh, are you able to hear me clearly? I hope you are able to hear me clearly. Right. If you are not able to hear me, let me know. Saraj,
Yes,
Rajesh,
sir, you are audible, sir.
thank you. So till now, we have executed these commands inside the Ubuntu, right? We created the Ubuntu image and we executed it, and after that we entered into the container, and then we executed these commands inside the Ubuntu. Normally in real time we will not do this. Normally we will not do this. Like in Linux, we will not execute uh, commands individually. We will write shell scripting. Similarly, if you are doing collection of activities, like for example deploying any application in Docker container, then you will not use commands like this. You will not execute like this. For that you use a special file called Dockerfile. Dockerfile is a special file, right? Like your shell scripting. For shell scripting you can give any name, right? For Dockerfile also you can give any name, but normally standard they follow is Dockerfile name. In the Docker file you can write all these instructions whatever you want to do. The same thing you can mention in your Docker file. So what happens that when you mentioned it, then now you can execute like shell script. When you run the shell script, what happens, all the commands will be execute sequentially, right? Here also, when you added these commands inside your Docker file, then all the instructions will be executed sequentially. For example, when a Java application has to be installed, deployed, then what we installed web server first, and then we deployed our application we downloaded, but in real time the developers will give that to us. So where we deployed everything in a virtual machine, right? The same thing if you want to do the same thing in container, then we have to mention the Docker file. We have to mention what before deploying the Java application. We have to mention, like we have to deploy, we have to first of all download Tomcat, and we have to download Java runtime, and then we have to mention in the Docker file where our uh, code available, where is our code available. Then that code has to be uh, copied from your local machine to your container. Local machine means what? Suppose this is your local machine. See here my Docker is running. Here is my Docker running. My Docker is running here, and inside this in this machine Docker is installed, and Docker client is installed, Docker engine is installed. Now there are no containers running. Now I am going to create a container. Then in that container I want to move my Java files, for example, and Java files are existing in my local machine. Means here when I say ls, then I should see my Java code here given by the developers. That code I have to move from this local machine to my container. For all these things to do, we have to mention all these steps in your Docker file. Okay, Docker file contains no space here. D is capital, and no space and no extension also. Okay, Docker file, no extension, contains set of instructions to build Docker image. What I'm doing, I'm going to build a Docker image. Okay, you can write the instructions, and what your Docker will do, see, Docker file, when you write all the instructions like deploy this application inside the container. Before deploying the application, you have to mention all the steps like installing web server, runtime environment, whatever you have to mention step by step, everything step by step. That means whatever our Java application is depending on, whatever software is depending on, all you have to mention. Then what your Docker file will give, it will, using this Docker file we can build a image, we can build a image. So Dockerfile job is only building your image. You are now creating a image now, a custom image you are creating. A custom image you are creating. It is not ready. It is not yet ready. Of course, again to run it inside a container, then obviously you have to give Docker run command and image name. That is same. That is same. But your why we are using Dockerfile? Using Dockerfile, we are creating a image. It's creating a image now. This image contains what? This image contains our Java application. Not only Java application, it can be your .NET application, Python application, React application. It can be any application. So it contains your Java application as well as all the dependent softwares also available inside your image. Now this image contains what? It's very same, right? We discussed long back when working. Image contains what? Code plus all the dependencies. Code plus all the dependencies, right? And then when you run this, then this image will be executed. It will be deployed in your container, and container will have all the required environment to execute this image, and this image will be running inside. Then you can use it. Image is like a template. It's a template, that's all. You cannot use it. It cannot use it. Okay, please understand the differences. Okay, so you should clear with container. What is container should be clear. What is image should be clear. And what we are getting from using Dockerfile should also clear. Dockerfile, we are using the Dockerfile because it is not a correct way of running the commands individually. You have to always keep them inside a Dockerfile, and you have to run the Dockerfile. How to execute a Dockerfile, that we will discuss in a moment. And before using Dockerfile, I hope you understood what is the use of Dockerfile. And before using Dockerfile, in Dockerfile we have to use some special keywords. Some special keywords we have to use. So before I write a Dockerfile, let us introduce ourselves with new keywords, right? To write Dockerfile, we use below keywords. First one is from. You can write small letter also, no problem. Case it's not case sensitive. You can write small and large. Capital letters also fine. From, what is from, you will understand. Then we have maintainer. See, from means I will explain again. It will time waste, so I will explain everything one by one. But let me write out the all the keywords. Maintainer is one more keyword, and then we have run, command, entry point, user, user, uh, copy, add. Like that, I'm just giving the main keywords. Work directory, expose, arg, volume, many more are there, etc. Many more are there. Okay, so these are the we use these keywords to create a Docker file. Okay, for example, first one you take from. From keyword is used to specify the base image to create our own Docker image. For example, you tell me, I want to deploy a web application. For that web application, I want a base image as I want a operating system like Ubuntu, right? Yesterday we installed Ubuntu, right? We have installed Ubuntu. Ubuntu image we have installed yesterday, right? We pulled the Ubuntu image from the hub, right? When you run this run automatically do two things, right? It will pull the Ubuntu image if it is not existing in the local pool. It will pull it from the Docker hub, and after pulling it, it will also, this command also will create a container, and it will deploy the Ubuntu image inside the container. These many things will happen when you do run command. So now the same thing I want to inform through my Docker file. I want to pull this Ubuntu. I want to uh, I want it to be a part of my image. I want to be a part of my image. That means the base first Ubuntu should be installed. Then in that case, we should say you have to use from keyword. From keyword is used to specify the base image to create our own Docker image. So first I want to install in the image. I want to, so for example, when you are creating our what do you call Linux machine, our what do you call virtual machine, what do? You first you select your operating system. This is your base image. First, this is one of your base image. Like that, I am selecting Ubuntu. I'm now here I am creating a virtual machine, but now I'm creating a container. Now going to be creating a container in that. This virtual machine is nothing but your container. In this container, I'm preparing what this container should have. I want to have this image. This particular image should be there, right? Like that. So how you specify? You can say in the Docker file. You can say like from. You can say Ubuntu. That's it. When you say from Ubuntu, you can also specify if you want some specific version. You can specify that. So you can go here and you can say you can pick it up whatever version. As this all information. Remember one important thing. Normally developers will prepare the Docker file. Developers will prepare the Docker file and they will give it to us. But if you know how to work with Docker file, it will be very helpful, right? Right. So Docker Hub. In the Docker Hub, you will have, as we saw yesterday, we have various versions. So whatever version if you want, you can pick it up. So Ubuntu, for example, select Ubuntu. So Ubuntu is an image now. This having various versions here, right? You can whichever version you want. You can mention like a colon and the version name. You can give a version name. We are going to create a image that in that image we have multiple images. Okay, one is Ubuntu image. Ubuntu is also image. So all these are packed together. Now is the Ubuntu image, right? In real
Then
time we
your
will
screen is not
specify the
visible.
version because
Sir,
Screen is
screen is not shared.
Your screen is not visible. Yeah,
Not shared, sir.
we are seeing that home page only. That
it okay. How is it now? How is it now?
Now it's
now we
I'm
fine.
are
Now it's
seeing
fine.
my go to my, okay, thank you, thank you. So this is our Ubuntu, our Docker Hub. Here we have different versions available. Normally, when developers were developing their application, they use specific version. So they will inform us use some specific version. If you don't use specific version, default the value will be latest, and this latest you no need to mention. Automatically, it will take the latest, right? Suppose you want to also pull another image, something like as a base image, like no some JDK, some Python, for example, Python you want to pull. Then you can say Python 3.6. I want Python 3.6, Python 3.8, whatever you want, you can mention like this. Otherwise, I want to Tomcat. I want Tomcat. Then you can say from I want Tomcat. Then Tomcat version you can mention. So Tomcat 8.0, okay, or 9.0, whatever version you want, you can mention over here, right? Like that you can mention using the from keyword. So from keyword will pull it when you when you run your Docker file. Then every instruction inside the Docker file will be executed when this particular when this particular instruction is executed, then automatically these are pulled. See, Dockerfile executed means when you are going to create a image using the Dockerfile, at the time the Ubuntu image will be pulled from the Docker Hub. We'll see this practically in a moment. And then we have another keyword called maintainer. We have another key called maintainer. So normally it is like, no, who wrote this script? That's it. About the information about the author. About the author. That's all. It's not very important. Okay. Keyword is used to specify the author of the Docker file. Right. Similarly, we have run. Run is there. So run is like, no, like you executing. Suppose I want to execute some. Uh, Now the image is building, right? The image is Ubuntu image is building. Now in the before the image Ubuntu is building, once in that image I want to add some files. For example, I want to create some files in the Ubuntu operating system itself. That means when I run my Ubuntu image in the container, and when I log into when I connect to my Ubuntu server, then I want to see some files already to be created. I want to be I want some actions to be performed, and those should be available with my operating system. It should be ready. That means when my container is running, and in that my image Ubuntu will be running inside that container, my Ubuntu should contain some files, for example. Then you can use run command. Suppose I want to say run, then I want to touch some file1 dot text. If I say like this, what happens? Then a file1 dot text file will be created. Touch, touch is a Linux command. So same like you log into Ubuntu machine, and you are okay. It's expired, right? So it's like, no, creating a typing a touch command, and file1 will be created, right? The same thing I want to happen when my image is running in the container. It should contain file1 text. I don't want that container. Now Ubuntu is running, and then I have to connect to my Ubuntu. After that, I run the touch command. Those things I don't want to do. I want that my file to be existed already. When my image is running in the container, it should contain my file1. This simple example I'm giving. With a simple example, I'm explaining the run command. Like that, if you want to have anything you want to pre-exist in the image, then you can run. You can use this run command, right? We can we can write multiple we can write multiple run instructions like that. You can write multiple. Suppose if I say touch one, and I want to say something like another touch file two. So this you can like that. You can execute multiple run commands, run instructions. Okay, to execute multiple. Okay, you can write multiple run instructions, right? And these instructions will be executed in same order, right? So when you are writing more docker files, then you will get more familiar about, using these commands. So so before giving a complicated examples, I am trying to give very small examples, so that you will at least understand basics of these commands. Then you can, when you get expertized, you can use these commands for more advanced things. Now next command is this same like run command, but this will be executed only one time. So this run command will be executed when your image is created. When at the time of image is created, at the time it will be executed. That means, let's type here run keyword is used to specify instructions to execute when the Docker image is creating, you can say, at that time. The same thing command, this is somewhat different. And here, even though you write multiple times, if you use cmd keyword in your Docker file, only the last one will be executed, whereas run is not like that. All the commands will be executed sequentially, but if you use command cmd command multiple times, the last one will be used to execute. Is used to specify instructions to execute when Docker container is creating. That means, see, this is like, no, for example, um, if you want to execute a React application, you want to start a React application, you normally command will be something like npm start. They use a command called npm start. So npm is a command, start is a command. So that means, when will you use a command like this npm start? When the application is completely installed and when it is ready to run, then we use the npm start. When your React application is ready to start, one moment please. When your React application is ready, then you use the final execution command. Similarly, your Java application is there. When your Java application is deployed, then you will give the Java command, Java and the binary file name. Then the binary file, the Java file will be, application will be executed, and you can see the output. These are all the final commands. These are not intermediate commands. All intermediate commands we use run. The final commands we use cmd, or another command is there, entry point, that also I will explain you. But these commands we use finally your Java application or .NET application are completely installed. Then we, whenever we want to start that application, so that and users can see the output, at that time you have to issue some command, so that the command will instruct our application to start. Now you start, that is the command. For that situations, you can use cmd command. For example, if you want to use a you want to start a Java command, for example, then you will write something like cmd is a command, and you can write something like command name, like something like it's a Java, right? So Java. If it is a jar file or var file, if it is jar file, you can say jar something, right? Then your application name. Suppose your application is Amazon application, then application Amazon app, then you say Amazon app dot jar file. This is your binary file. This is your application name. Similarly, if I have CMD React application, I will say npm start. So first command will execute the Java application. This application condition is, this should be right. You should write normally at the end of the file, Docker file. Once you finishing the Docker file, at the last step you have to write it. Then this application will be launched. Similarly, this for React, for example. Okay, like that we use. Next comes our copy command. Next comes our copy command. As I told you, now developers have given us the code, final code they have given. Now they ask us to deploy this application in the container. Then whatever the code they give to us, that will be in your local machine. This is your local machine. Now from your local machine, I want to copy the files to my container. In the local machine, your files may be stored somewhere. The files will be stored somewhere in your local machine. that path you have to give. That path you have to give. Okay. So for that purpose, we use copy command. So, okay, it is used to copy the files from host machine to container machine, right? How to copy? Example, you can say copy. Now, if time permits, tomorrow, sorry, today we will deploy a web application, Java application, which we already done. If you remember, we used a shopping site with Tomcat. With Tomcat, we deployed it, right? The same thing using Tomcat. How to deploy using Dockerfile? We will see that if time permits. I will mostly try to finish that, show that example. Now, copy. Okay, you want to copy. Where are your files? Where are the files in the local folder? Suppose my files are inside, for example, inside my, when you remember, when you use maven, okay, when you say maven command, maven builds the Java code, and where it will keep the var file inside your target folder. Normally it will keep it inside a target folder. If target folder is not there, then maven build tool do what? It will create a target folder, and inside that it will create the, generate the var file. Okay, it will build the Java code into a, converts to a binary file, that is var file. So that path I have to give something like example target folder. In that, in the target folder, uh, I have my application. For example, I have my Amazon app application, and it having extension as something var. Okay, and this I want to copy. Where you want to copy? Into my container. In your container, suppose your container having a uh, Ubuntu OS, for example. So in that, where you want, in that Ubuntu, in which folder you want to copy this code? Normally we copy it in a folder called user. In that, there is a folder called app. There you will copy normally. So that means this is your local path, and this is your container path. That means this path should already existing. This should be existing already. That means before copy, you have to create a base. You have to create a base image. So Ubuntu or Tomcat should be already installed. It should be installed before you using any of these commands. Remember, if you, before Tomcat, if you run this command, it will not work. Before, you have to install uh, s- dependence if you, before you running React application, you have to install Node application. Node is a application. Node is a software that you have to be installed before you running a React application. These are all conditions. These are all conditions apply. So you should know. Obviously, as a DevOps engineer, we will not know this. Normally your developers know this. So don't, no need to worry about it. When you working slowly you will understand. Okay, because once or twice if you do, then you will understand. Okay, we are dealing with React, then Node application should be installed first. Like that you will come to know. So this is the way you will copy. Suppose you want to copy a Python application, for example, then you can say copy. Now where is your Python code? Suppose your Python code available in your local root in the same path, then you can say simply the Python application name. Okay, something like Python app dot, the Python app will have extension as py. Okay, py. So this file I want to copy. Okay, then what the path is same, user app. So, okay, similarly we have another command, same like copy. We have another command called add command. Add is same like copy command, but small difference is there. The add command, see, copy command copies from local folders only. Add also can do it the same thing, but apart from that, add can also, you can give URL to add command. You can give URL. Suppose in the URL we have some application. You can download it. You want to download it. Your add command can download it. You can give the same commands like above. Apart from that, it can also download from internet. but you have to give the path. Same, everything whatever you're doing here, same you can do it. So it is used to copy the files from host machine as well as from internet to container. So here you can give something like add, and you can give URL. Okay, suppose, remember, we have pulled some images, do you remember? So we have pulled from free CSS. From there we have pulled some publications. So you can give that zip path, and that zip file where you want to copy, I will say in the user dot slash app. So user slash app is the path in our container. Into this I want to download the zip file, and I want to copy them inside this folder. This, for this purpose we have to use add command, right? Now similarly we have another command called work directory, work dir. Okay, work keyword, it is very simple. We have Linux command, remember, pwd. Pwd will give what? Control C, present working directory. Present working directory means what? Where you are working, that it will show you. Where you are working, that it will show you. So now when you are working in the container, if I want to move to a specific container, suppose I want to move to in the container there are multiple folders, system folders, user created folders. I want to move to that folder, and I want to make that folder as a working directory. Then you can mention it using your work directory. That means normally, suppose I want to go here, I don't have any folders here, for example. Now make dir. Okay, here I will create some dir1, for example, ls. Now let us go to dir1. You have to see what I'm doing. CD space dir1 I'm doing, but in the same thing, the same CD space dir1, when you want to go there, the same thing activity you do using working directory, work dir. I want to get inside your user app folder, for example, app, something like that. Then it is like as if I'm doing like something like cd slash user slash app, something. If you do like this, then what will happen? You will get inside the app folder, right? Final folder, right? The same thing, the same action will be taken if you use this work directory, right? Now when you say, when you press enter, now we are in the dir1 directory, right? Now after executing this command, then after that whatever you copy, after this command, whatever you use, add command, copy command, all will automatically goes to this folder, because this is a working directory. That way you can use work directory. So it is used to specify the working directory location to process location to process for the Docker instructions. It means after that, whatever instructions you give, that goes into your working directory, right? That is fine. Next is we have expose keyword. Expose is nothing but, if you remember yesterday, what we did, where is that? We are exposing. See, 34400 colon 180 is there, right? Now normally this is a web server, normally runs on port number 80, and your React runs on port number 3000, right? Like, and similarly your Python runs on port number 5000. Like that, every language, every application have their own port numbers. So if you want to mention that where your application listening, then you can say expose, not export, expose. So when you want to declare the port number where your application listening to, then you can mention the port number here. It is used to specify on which port number our application is listening inside a container, right? So how to use example? Expose expose suppose I want to listen on port number 3000, then you should say 3000, right? Like that you have to use expose command. And we have another one called entry point. Entry point is similar like your CMD, similar like your command, the same thing. But one thing, the difference is that whatever command you have mentioned inside your Docker file, these commands you can override, you can change it while running the Docker. While that running the Docker file, you can change it. These commands can be changed. How we can change, we'll see that. But whereas entry point also same like CMD, used for the same purpose. The only difference is that whatever commands we use along with entry point, those cannot be changed. Those cannot be changed. That we'll see practically. It is used to run our application code in Docker container, right? Example is entry point, then in the square bracket, the same command how we written above. This is one command. For command you can write square brackets for command also. Here also you can use it. This is another format, the second format, the second way I'm showing. The same thing I want to execute. Then you can do it similar way here. Here the Java is the first instruction. Put in double quotation, comma. The second argument is the jar file itself, and comma. The finally our application name, right? Put it. So now the difference is that while executing our container, you can override these values, you can change these values. But whatever commands we given in the along with the entry point command, this you cannot change, you cannot override them. That is the main difference. We'll see that. We'll see that with example. Okay. As of now, try to understand both are same. Only thing is the values what you are giving here cannot be changed when you are using entry point. This entry point and CMD both should be run only one time, and those will be added at the bottom of the Dockerfile script. And similarly, we have another command called user command. User command is same like you do you remember we have created while learning while learning Linux operating system, and in between also we have created users, right? User add, right? User add command we used, and we create RAM, other different users we create, right? User accounts. And also in Ubuntu we use add user, like that the command changes, minor changes will be there, but end of the day we create different users, right? So if you want to execute the Docker instructions as a root user, as a specific user, then you can use this command, this user command. It is used to specify the user account to execute Dockerfile instructions. Example, suppose I want to execute as a root user, for example, then you can say root, user root. Or you want to execute as a user as RAM, you can mention over here. As a RAM, these commands will be executed. RAM is the owner now. So he will be the user now. Whatever permissions he having, only whatever permissions are given to him, using them, only them he can able to do the activities on the machine. If he is a root user, he can do everything. And we have another command called arg command. Arg keyword. So it is arg is nothing but arguments. Whenever you want to pass some arguments, you can use arg keyword. So it is used to pass dynamic values. The previous document, this one I have not updated yet. I will update this. Okay, whatever we discuss these things, I will update it. Okay, you can see it. I didn't get time to change it. I will update it anyway. I uploaded that. I will refine it. Okay, I will refine it. You can check it after some time. And how to run this? For example, you can see arg, and then the argument name is branch name without space. Okay, it's a variable. It's a variable. Now I want to run a command, a shell command. I want to run something like run a shell command. I want to run a shell command. This shell command will take, I want to clone something. I will clone from the GitHub. Then shell command git clone. What is the branch name? The branch name I can give dynamically. Then if it is it has already received the branch name, that branch name you can directly give here, or you can mention it directly the branch name, or you can use the argument variable name. And then, and we have to use a dollar symbol. We did that when we working on the Jenkins, right? We have to give dollar symbol, right? Branch name, enter, and then URL of the GitHub URL, right? All these things you can do inside a Docker file using the run command. And the other one is volume. Volume is a complete different topic that I will take a separate class for that volumes. So volume keyword. Volume is very interesting topic, all right? So the same we have in Kubernetes. We have persistent volumes also there. If you understand this volume concept in Docker, then in Kubernetes you will understand there a topic is called persistent volumes. So uh, that will become very easy to understand. Anyway, it is used to specify Docker volume for storing the data. See in short, anyway, example how to use it. Volume, and here your volume name. So in short, I will explain what is use of volume is. For example, when you have deployed some application, and the application has store using some database, for example, and the database information is stored in memory in the volume somewhere. And whenever you uh, terminate the container, when you terminate the container, along with the application, the data whatever it has stored also will be removed from the memory. It will lost. So to make it available, because the program having some issue, the program crashed, the container crashed. Now you can relaunch your container again, but data already lost. When you relaunch the application, and the application relaunched, and when it tries to connect to the database is not available. The data is lost. So that is the reason, to persist that data, even though the container crashes, if you want to persist the data, so that when you relaunch the new container and the application running inside the container, if it tries to connect to the data, it can connect. For that purpose, we have to use volume concept, right? So let us try some simple examples. For example, here And meanwhile, yeah, I will run some simple examples, and then we will see some. We'll try to deploy a Java application. You have 10 more minutes. Now ls remove this directory. Okay, no directories are there. Now I will create one directory. How to create a directory? I want to create it, and as well as I want to edit it. Then what I can do? Simply you can say vi docker file. See, capital D without space, no extension, enter. This is your Docker file. Now write some commands like from. I want to use, I want to install Ubuntu as a base image. Then you say Ubuntu and press enter. This is a base image, right? Then I want to, once Ubuntu is installed, I want to install, I want to create some files in that. For example, I want to say run touch touch file1 .txt. All right, another run command touch file2 .txt, another run command touch file3 .txt. So that means when I when I execute this command, when I execute this Docker file, then what should happen? I should see the should contain, OS should contain all the all the three files, right? Along with the operating system. That is my expectation. Okay, save this, escape, save this, ls, your Docker is there, cat Docker, see the content of this Docker file, right? Now this is a file. Now I have to create my own custom image, right? So whatever instructions are there, so now I'm not writing something like Docker. I am not doing anything like Docker. Oh my god, Docker pull. I'm not doing Docker pull. Sorry, I'm not doing Docker pull, or I'm not doing a Docker run here. These actions I'm not doing. Everything Docker file will take care. But for that, we have to use a different command. You are building your own image, right? You are building your own image, right? So if you say Docker image hyphen help, you see we have a command called build command. Build an image from a Docker file. That means using Docker file having these instructions. So when you use build command and you mention the Docker file, then image will be and for that you have to mention the image, what image, okay, image will be created, what is the name of the image, that also you have to mention, and also you have to mention where is your Docker file. These things you have to mention. For example, build a image using the Docker file, right? So how to do that? We have to use Docker. Docker is your client, okay? Docker is a client. So Docker client will communicate with the Docker engine. Docker, what you want to create, you want to build, right, image. So simply say, you can say image build, you can say like this also, or in short you can say Docker build also. Both are fine, okay, both are fine. And hyphen t is nothing but tag, okay. Hyphen t here, hyphen t is tag name. So tag name, so what tag name you want to give? I want to give so okay, Docker file is there, okay, image will be created. What name you want to give to that image? As of now I don't have any images. Clear the screen. Docker images, I don't have any image as of now, right? Now I want to create a new image. Here I will say my custom image, something like that. Okay, my custom image. This is the image name I want to give. Fine. Image name is this. And where is the Docker file? Just if you are in the same path, just give dot. When you say dot, then your Docker understands. Okay, it's the Docker file existing in the same path in the same working directory. So that is the meaning of dot. So if you give like this, then your Docker will refer your Docker file, and whatever you have mentioned in the Docker file, all the instructions will be executed. So cat Docker, these instructions will be executed. No need to copy. Okay, example. So Dockerfile is the Dockerfile. Right now, here comes your instructions. Okay, let us run these instructions. Copy this, paste here. Now run it. It is saying must be. Oh, is it? Mhm. Let me try with small letters. My custom image is not taking accepting capital letters. Okay, so don't give capital letters. Okay, so it is building now. There are total 7 steps, 8 steps. So 8 steps are completed. So what it has done, it has downloaded the Ubuntu. These are all image layers actually. So in deep we'll see when there is a time I will explain these things. These are called overlays actually. So in Docker there is a separate folder called overlays folder will be there. When you go to overlays folder, you will see all these are all nothing but different directories. They are all layers actually, that some other day I will explain you. But as of now, uh, and then extracting, then instruction, out of 4 instructions, the run command is executed, third line, fourth line executed, exporting to image. A image is created now. Image is created now. Now if you run Docker images, now you see our image is ready. Now I want to see whether my files are available in this image or not. How can I connect to it? Docker run hyphen it. I want to interact it to I want to interactively I have to connect to the terminal. So it, and then you can give the name if you want. You can give some name, but it is not mandatory. And the image name, my custom image, right? My custom image. There I want to go to the bin bash and press enter. See, this is my container ID. I'm in the Ubuntu system now. Now press ls. If you see, observe here, file 1 is there, file 2 is there, file 3 is there. We have not created them. Okay, hope you're understanding. Okay, try to understand slowly. And there is one example. Let me do another example, another Docker file. Now exit. Now you say Docker ps hyphen a. My, when I say exit, this is exited, you see, 4 seconds ago. Now container is gone now. Now let us do one example here. We have Java application shopping site. If you remember, we have worked on this, right? So let us try to deploy this application using Tomcat, right? We'll try to install this application using Tomcat, right? For that, first of all, I want this code to be copied. So developers, assume developers are, said that the code is available in the GitHub or Bitbucket or GitLab. There could be any. They can use any repository. So one of them is this one. So what I will do, I will clone it. Okay, copy this. First step. Okay, let me write the steps first so that you won't confuse. Ping is now deploy the shopping website. Okay, then first step, what you have to do, we have to clone it, right? We have to clone it. uh, Git install git, and then do the git clone. Okay, github url. Okay, step by step, let us do that. So git is there, git version, it is not there, so install it. Yum install git hyphen y. Now go here and copy this. Okay, okay, run this statement. Now say git clone, but before git clone, okay, git clone for that, we are not pushing, right? No problem. Now paste here, think, enter, ls, right? We have already one docker file there, right? Let it be, no problem, that is a separate docker file. Let us get inside our cloned folder. Okay, cd is very simple, just give me a few seconds. Okay, and then here you have to write a docker file. But before writing a docker file, you have to build our code, right? ls. See, remember, Java code contains its dependent files inside your POM folder. POM file contains all the dependencies that your Java requires to run properly. Your source code available in your source folder. POM file contains all the requirements. So remember, Java dependencies exists in a file called pom.xml. And for example, if you take what is that, Python, for example, Python, then Python dependencies exists in requirement file, the requirements file. Similarly, .NET, .NET or Angular or React. Okay, their dependencies exists in packages.json file. So every language have different ways, and so to run .NET application or Angular application or Python application properly, then first you have to download the softwares from the internet or wherever you mention in the path, you will mention in these packages, in the requirements, in the POM file. So when you mention it, then first those will be pulled, and then the application can run successfully. Let us deal with Java first. So for that, you have to install Maven. So Maven knows how to build Java. Then yum install Maven. Okay, hyphen y. install maven yum install maven. Okay, and then what you have to do, we have to build it, right? So right, you have to use maven command, like maven clean package is a command, right, to build the Java application. Now ls, so wherever pom file is there, there only you have to execute your maven command, maven clean and package. You see, as of now we have src, we don't have target folder. Now target folder will be created. In the target folder only we have the var file. Enter. ls, see, we got a target folder. Get into target folder. ls, see, this is a var file, right? That means what I have to do in my docker file, first step, for see what we did when we running our application using tomcat, we have installed tomcat, right? And to the tomcat, what we did in the tomcat, when you install tomcat, will contain a folder called web apps. Like here we have default target folder. Similarly, when you install tomcat, a default web apps folder will be created when you install tomcat. And also when you install apache, what will happen, inside the var folder, www html folder will be created. Similarly, when you install tomcat, a web apps folder will be created. Where it is created, the web apps path, I will tell you. So why I am telling now about it, because I am going to use Dockerfile. In the Dockerfile, I will make my tomcat as a base image. I will make my tomcat as a base image. I'm not get, I don't want any OS now. So I want to tomcat. uh, when I run the application, when I run the application, I can able to see my application running from the container. I don't want to get inside the container, but my application should be running. For that, I only need tomcat. And tomcat needs what? Tomcat needs the var file, this var file. That means this var file is existing in my local machine. So I have to copy this var file into my container. For that, we have a command called copy, I told you, right? So let us see how to use it. So here in the target folder, right? Just come out of it. Dot dot ls. Right. Let me write a Docker file here. Vi docker file. Enter. We are in different folder, different Docker file. Previously, Docker file is in different path. In the root folder it is. Now here I will say something like escape insert mode. Yeah. Here I will say from, I want to install Tomcat. So for Tomcat also we have from the library, from hub we can get Tomcat also. You type Tomcat here. Tomcat. See Tomcat. Apache Tomcat is a open source implementation of Java Servlet and Java Server Pages technologies. So we are using Java Server Pages. So when you go to our application, we are using Java Server Pages, JSP. They call it as JSP. If you go here, see this is a JSP file, JSP. These are called Java Server Pages. So such things we can launch using our Tomcat. I want to install it. Simply how to launch? We have different versions here again. If you want specific versions 9, 10, 8, you can take it. You can copy and take it. You can use this in your Docker file. But I will take the latest one, Tomcat. Now your Tomcat will be downloaded. Next, Tomcat, when you say this, when this line is executed, your Tomcat will be installed, and automatically when it is installed, a path will be created. Tomcat path will be like this. When Tomcat is installed inside the container already a user and app folders will be there. Inside that, Another folder will be there called local. This is also pre-existing file. In that, your Tomcat folder will be created. Inside that, a default web apps folder will be there. This is very important folder. To this folder, I have to copy the var file. So after building the Java application, copy the var file to Tomcat. Okay, for that this is a path, and how to do that, how to copy that, you have to use command called copy, and see where is your Docker file. Docker file is inside your FedEx, whatever we downloaded, right? We are in the same folder, right? In the same folder, we are in the same folder. In this folder, only I am writing the Docker file. Okay, it is not here, but in the same, I have downloaded it, I am writing the Docker file. And if you remember, in the Docker main folder we have target folder, right? The target folder I have to give here target. In the target folder, our application is there. What is the application name? What is the ex var file name? I'm taking more time, just a minute please. Almost done. Okay, sudo -i ls, go to FedEx folder, ls, so cd target, ls. What is the var file name? This is the file name. Copy this. This var file I want to copy, right? Select it and mention it here. Owner target. In the target, I have the var file, and where you want to copy? It's a path. I want to copy because like when we work with Windows, we have installed IAS web server, and I told you whenever you want to copy, whenever web server have to serve the application, then you have to copy the files inside your www root folder. Similarly in Apache, you have to store in the HTML folder. Similarly in Tomcat, you have to copy your files inside your web app folder, web apps folder. So paste here. Right, that's it. You copied it, that's it. Rest serving the application, your Tomcat will take care. Enter. Any doubts till now? Now let us build it. Docker build tag name. I'll say shopping site. This is my image name. Okay, this is my image name. And where is your Docker file exists in the same path. Dot build -t shopping site is a new image I want to create, and dot is a Docker file. So this when it is building the image, build means it's creating a image, new image. It will create image using your Docker file and press enter. Now it is downloading Tomcat. Okay, one mistake I have did. No, not a mistake actually. No problem. While running, we can take care of it. Correct, correct. Right. Clear the screen. Docker images. Docker images. Now you see our shopping site also existing now. It is showing now. Now let me connect to it. Okay. And I told you yesterday, we saw yesterday port forwarding. The same thing we have to do now because I want to access my application from the browser now. So port forwarding is important. Docker, right? And run. You have to run your container, right? Now your image is ready. It is not running. You have to make it running in the inside your this image now will be moved to your container. Port forwarding. So your Tomcat listens on port number 8080. Okay. So what I can do? Let me one thing. So this is my image, this is my Docker, and this is a public IP. Then here I have to say Docker. You can say anything, 3000, whatever you can say. But when you say when you're saying 3000 here, then the three you can mention the 3000 here, and you can say here 8080. That means whenever whenever you saying 3000, this 3000 will be forwarded to your Tomcat port, that is 8080. Then why should I give 3000? What if I give 8080 itself to avoid confusion? Okay, you can give 8080 also, no problem. Any number you can give from your browser. But end of the day, on the right side, this is a port where your Tomcat is listening inside your container. It's a port number of your application inside your container, and this is a port number you are giving from your browser. That you should that don't confuse. Okay, right, that is the way we have to give. Right, and you have to use -it, or you can use -d also. Now I don't want to get inside the container. I want to detach it. I want to detach it. That means I can execute remaining commands. The container should be running at the background. For that I have to use -d. It is detaching. I'm not getting inside the container. For that I have to say -it, but here -id will detach. That means container will be running in the backend, but we are detaching from that. So now your image name. What is your image name? Shopping site, right? This is the image name. That's it. Docker run. One moment, please. I will copy this instruction. First is Docker build, okay, -t shopping site and dot. And next, eighth step, execute it. Okay, build the image. Okay, run the image in a container. Okay, using port forwarding. Right now, enter. It is running. Let us see. ps-a Docker is a command, right? Client command, Docker client command. Yes, funny. So your shopping site is running. You see. Now to access it, if you remember in Tomcat, what we used to do, we used to do like no, 8080, and then we have to give your application name. What is your application name? What is the var file name? That var file name is nothing but your application name. So that name you have to give, or simply you can go to your POM file, click on the POM file. Okay, when you click on it, your application name will be this shopping site web app. Okay, copy this, and here you paste. Now your application is running now, shopping site is running now at port 8080, but 8080 we are not enabled, right? We have to enable it. Go here in the security, click on here. Now add rule 8080, and anywhere anybody can access it from the internet. Save rules. Now go here and press enter. Okay, why it is not running? Any ideas?
We have not started Tomcat.
I'm sorry.
We have not started Tomcat, right?
Right, we have not started Tomcat. Okay, that is correct. uh, so then we have to again Give me a second, please. We have not started, that is true, but that everything it will take care actually. Is the name correct? Uh, it's saying the origin server did not find current preparation of target resource is or is not willing to disclose the one exists. Uh, that Tomcat will take care, Naveen. That we don't need to actually. Any security only could be issue. And by the way, what is the exe name? Clear the screen. What happened? It's not responding. ls. Oh, it's not responding. Okay, it is running. Okay, so what is the port forwarding we given? 8080. Some small mistake maybe, otherwise you should running properly. uh, Let me do one thing. Vi docker ls docker file, right? Okay, vi any problem in the path. Target shopping site, user app folder, user app. Okay, that is a mistake actually, not app actually. In no, in user we have app as well as local folders. We don't have inside app, we don't have local folder. Actually, I forgot. It should be user, and inside user we have another folder called local, not the app. Okay, this is a mistake, no problem. What we do, edit it. Okay, insert mode. So if any issues, such issues comes, you have to understand what mistake you have done in your docker file. Now it looks good for me. Local tomcat web apps, yeah, looks fine for me now. Yeah, escape. Now what to do now? We have already image, right? No problem. I will do one thing. uh, Docker build hyphen t image name shopping site colon v1, something like you can give anything. Shopping site colon version v1 v2 v3, or simply a1 a2, whatever you want you can give, but a version number you can give. Okay, same name with new version. And dot means your docker file path. Please be on mute, I'm getting some noise. So docker build hyphen t shopping site hyphen v1. Now a new image will be created with a new version, so no need to change the name. Now you see images, docker images. Now you see the same name but new version. You see new version. So like that you can create, you can no need to change image names again. You should change the what you call that image name. Next, what? Running the application. So here, which image I have to run? The image which having version v1. Then you should say colon v1. Okay, now enter. It is running now. Let us see, confirm that docker ps hyphen a. It is created, not yet up. Again you run it. Why it is not running? It's not in running state. It should be in running state. Let me do one thing. Docker kill the previous image, this one, and one more Docker. I want to kill it, but I cannot kill it unless it is running. But let me try. I can stop it, but let me try. Yes, it is not running, so cannot kill it. Let me try this time. Clear the screen. Docker ps-a, Docker stop. At least I can stop it. Now it is stopped. Huh? What happened? So you do one thing. I will try for another 2-3 minutes. I will try. If it is not working, then you have to use the same code. It will work for you. Okay, here it is not running it, but no problem. Let me type the Docker content. Okay, whatever steps we have did, the path, everything will be same, because if you are using the same image, same GitHub, if you clone the same thing, then you will get the same thing. Okay, okay, you already have it now, no change. Okay, but the content of the, yeah, here it should be, where is the content? Dockerfile, the file content. This is perfectly works. Okay, but it is not starting. Let me try one more time. If it's not working, then it will work for you. You try this, and if it's not working, let me know. We'll see it on Monday, but give me 2 minutes. Let me try again. Neither it is stopping, neither it is starting. Okay, let me run the command again. I do one thing, otherwise I will take a new image, shopping site 2, without a tag. That is not a problem actually, don't confuse. Docker images, shopping site is created. Now let me start it. By now we should have type it now. So remove this tag. Now set image name 2. Docker run port forwarding and the image name, and that's it. Press enter. Let me try. It should work. It should work. It's not a big thing. Now enter. Yep, it has deployed. You see, these are our application which we worked before. Remember, we worked this when we're learning, when we're working on Jenkins. At the time we have worked on it. Okay, just do the same thing. Deploy some other application if you want. Same, change some content here and try with this Java application. So application doesn't matter. You should understand how we are able to deploy. Whatever the content we are seeing doesn't matter to us. End of the day, how we are deploying, that is important. Okay. Okay, it is working fine now. I am not sure. The problem is with the path only. Here previously I used app slash local. App is wrong. I removed it. Now it is working fine. Okay, I will end this session, and tomorrow on Monday, I mean to say tomorrow on Monday, we connect again. We'll continue the class. So it is this time it is up and up, and it is running. Okay. Sometimes it behaves differently. No problem. Okay. Okay then. Take care. Have a good weekend. We'll meet on Monday. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.